Welcome to the Architect My Life podcast. I'm Maya Schlachter, serial entrepreneur and CEO of the MGS Global Group, where we serve architecture and design firms with project delivery, such as drafting, 3D visualization, and graphics production support. I am also the founder of Architect My Life. My goal is to help creative entrepreneurs such as architects and other design-related professionals scale their business to 6 or 7 figures. I also show them how it's possible to do this while living a rich life outside their work, reclaiming time and energy for themselves and their families. Creatives were taught how to master their craft, but not taught how to run and grow a business. Each podcast episode features a different entrepreneur from the creative industry who shares their journey towards success. If you have a growth story that others in our community could benefit from hearing, stick around to the end of the show to see how you could be a guest in one of our future episodes. Now, let's dive into this episode.
Hi guys, welcome to Architect My Life, where we interview creative entrepreneurs' journey. I'm the host of Architect My Life podcast, and Joann, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Aya has told me so much about you, and I'm glad actually Aya, the founder of Architect My Life, can actually join us today, as a matter of fact, too.
Thank you for having me here.
So I'm really excited, Joann, for having you as a guest. I know she's extremely busy. She has a lot of things going on, and I appreciate you. I want to introduce Joann. She is a speaker and an influencer. She recently took a job in Monograph as a senior content strategist, and from architect from a major firm to content strategist at Monograph, which is a really good software company, right, for architects. Mm-hmm. And then she's the founder of the Women's Architects Collective with over 3,000 members. I remember joining this group 2 years ago, and you probably had like 500. And yeah. Joann has exploded. Now she has over 3,000, and she has so many members in Clubhouse as well. And she coaches women who wanted to be heard, be seen, and be known. But I want to introduce Joann as how I perceive her to be, since I've known her for like the last 6 months. Number one, she's authentic. I have 3 things to describe Joann. She's authentic. Number 2, she's a fearless introvert and an inspirational leader. So that's Joann. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. You're way too nice.
No, it's true.
Yeah, Joann, you have so many great things going on for you. I mean, Aya have told me so many amazing things too, and just like she went through everything. But I would love to actually learn a little bit about like, where did everything start from? Tell us a little bit about your childhood. Were you always like an amazing like introverted person?
It's funny because I was such a shy kid. Like if I see a stranger, like if my mom introduced me to a stranger, I would start crying when I was a kid. And I remember I actually, in kindergarten, I got an award and I went on the stage and I started crying because I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. But as a very introverted person, it kind of just took me actually years to get to where I am today, where I'm able to speak and do videos and do coaching. Is definitely been a journey. I think being in architecture and being an architect kind of forced me out of that introvert zone, just because you do have to talk to a lot of people. As part of your job, you are within so many people every day. It's just forced to do it. And after a while, you kind of just have to like put on your big girl's pants and just say, screw it, I'm just going to do this.
Well, I love it because a lot of times introverts actually have amazing ideas and they just hold it in until like one day they're like, boom, you guys, this is what I have going on in my brain, compared to extroverted like me that they have it and they say it out loud. We don't really hold back a lot. So it's just really interesting to see, introverts, how they pretty much analyze everything, get the gears going in their mind, get a plan, and then once they're launched, they're ready to take over pretty much. But you're also a big advocate for women. I wanted to ask you, like, is there a specific person that is a big influencer in your life that helped you towards this journey as well, if you can pick one?
I can pick so many. I think just in my life in general, my mom and my sister are the two most important women in my life, probably. Like, my sister is also an influencer, but she's in Hong Kong, and she is like an YouTube influencer, and she started way before I started doing social media, and just kind of learning from her, seeing how far she has come. And I know, Aya, you say I'm authentic. If you look at her, she is the most authentic person I have ever seen on video. She would show up with no makeup, in pajamas, with her hair like all spiky, and didn't comb her hair. And she would just show up on videos. And she just has this sense of like, I'm just going to show up and be myself. And just looking at her doing that gave me a lot of courage. And of course, she is an extrovert, and it's a little different, but it's definitely just knowing that someone that I know so dearly and grew up with can do what she's been doing. She has like over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
If you walk on the street with her in Hong Kong, people will recognize her, and like like she's like a celebrity.
Okay, you need to send me her link so I can follow her.
But she speaks it in Chinese. So
okay.
But yeah, I would say my sister is probably what influenced me. Go ahead.
So my next question is, how did you end up in the US? Romin, a side story, Joanna and I have similar paths, but I'm like 10 years older or more. We're both from Asia. We both moved to New Jersey to go to school, and we both went to NJIT. It's like a really tiny state school. So how did you end up in New Jersey?
So I came to America when I was 16 to go to college. And I came to New Jersey because my uncle lives here, and he's the only person I know in America. So I just came to here because he was here. And I started in a community college, like a county community college, for a year. I did, my usual ESL classes, like elective classes. And then I had to decide what school I should go to and even what major I should choose. And, I didn't really know what architecture was, because nowadays, like in high school, you have architecture programs where like you can take classes and people actually teach you how to draft and how to do AutoCAD and all that stuff. But back then, especially I went to high school in Hong Kong, they have no career programs. It was only very focused on just basic subjects like math and English and Chinese and stuff like that. So I didn't know what architecture was, but I just knew that I really loved to do something creative, like drawing or art or sketching. And I'm also very good with science and math. And so I actually was going to either be an illustrator or a doctor, which is like, I was either going to pick my creative side or my science side. And my dad was like, why don't you try architecture, kind of combining both of what you love. And so I just went to a career fair and actually it was a college fair, and someone told, I went to every college, like in the booth. I was like, do you do architecture? Because I had no idea. It was my first year in America. And they were like, oh, go to NJIT. They're like the school in New Jersey that do architecture programs. So I applied there and got in, and that's how I got into NJIT.
It's a great school. I mean, not many people know about it, but
yeah,
I learned so much. I mean, people are like, "What's NJIT?" I'm like, "It's the best."
They have a great architecture program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it because you say you put your creative side and your science side together and you kind of just merge it into a career that you very much enjoy, but you also had a turning point. So I would love to hear a little bit about your turning point going from the architecture to work into Monogram as a senior content strategist, because that is a transition. So I would love to learn more about it. Like, how did you even go for it?
Yeah, so this was about 2-3 months ago. I feel like I have been like I have switched like for so long, but it's only been 2 months ago. I was at Gensler for 6 years, and I have been an architect for about 10 years. And I got my license and everything. I was like on the path to be an architect forever. And then the pandemic came and I was home, and I guess I just had a lot of time to rethink what I wanted my career to be, or just what I want my life to be in general. And I just realized I just wanted to try something new. And for being an architect for 10 years, for the 6 years I was at Gensler, I've only worked on 2 projects because, buildings takes forever to get built. And I just wanted to do something faster paced, and I wanted to try something different before I stay on this one path forever. I mean, honestly, I could be an architect for the rest of my life. But I just felt like this is the right time for me to take the leap and try it. And it was a hard decision because, with architecture school together, you kind of, whenever you leave something so major, you feel so guilty because you're like, oh, I gave up my 15 years of hard work on, like working towards being an architect. And you're like, oh, should I really do it? I don't know. And everyone around you is like, well, why would you stop being an architect? And like, no one really understood except my mom, because she would always tell me, just do whatever you want to do. So I just went for it. I actually there's so many reasons why I joined Monograph. I think if it wasn't for this specific startup that I find, I wouldn't have left necessarily so soon. I saw Monograph about, I think, 8 months ago. I went on their website and I saw their product and their brand, and I was like, this is the company I'm going to work for next. Because I just believe in the product that they make so much. I really think the tool that they're making is something that architects really need that we don't have. So I reached out to them and I applied to be a writer at first, to write their blog, just like a freelance writer. And I met with George, who is our marketing manager, and we talked, and I was, telling him that I have had experience building my own community, creating my own content. I have been building brands and brand design and content strategy for other online businesses for the past few years. And that's kind of my side hustle that I do on the side. And I love marketing and branding, as you can tell by what I do online. And so we got into like a consulting relationship where I help them with content strategy on the side, and kind of they hire the writers to write, but I would like tell them what to write and give them like content strategy. And so 6 months later, they were like, oh, we have a full-time position for this. Do you want to take it? So I just took it. And that's how it all came to be. Kind of a long story, but yeah.
I love it because 2020 it was a crazy year for everybody, honestly. And we've seen some people change careers or maybe finally take the leap of faith and actually transition to something they've been secretly wanting to do for so long. So they're like, okay, finally, I'm just going to do it. The whole world is going bananas. So I'm just going to take a leap of faith too. But you went through that. So what would be your advice to somebody that maybe is looking to switch careers from architecture career to maybe a different path? If you can give some big tips on, what to avoid or what not to do at the same time to be successful during this career transition as well.
Yeah, sure. So after I made the transition, I made an announcement on my Instagram. Like I got so many people that ask me the exact questions. And I actually got on the call with a few of them. And what I realized is, I think first you have to identify if it is architecture or is it your job that you're frustrated with, right? Because if it's just your job, if it's just a firm that you're at, then get a new job. Go to a new firm. That's easy. Or even if you are just kind of tired of doing what you're doing at your job, maybe switch to something else within architecture, because there's so many things you could do within architecture, right? If you still really want to stay in architecture. But if it is the architecture industry that you don't like so many people I talk to are like, I don't have work-life balance. I want to have kids. I can't, spend time doing what I love to do. I just, people are just like so tired of the industry in general, the culture. And if that's what you're frustrated about, then I would say it's definitely worth looking into other industry. And there are so many, I know a lot of people look into tech because that's the cool thing to do. There are so many tech startups that are architecture or construction related. There is a community that's kind of where I find Monograph is called Architechy. And actually George, my marketing manager, is like the founder of it as well. And that there are a lot of architects that transitioned into technology. And I think a lot of time we get stuck in that mindset of, oh, I only know how to do architecture because I only have skills to, drafts, I only know how to do renderings or CD sets or stuff like that. It's very architecture specific. But in our job, we actually have so many other skills that you could apply to other roles, like, leadership skill, client relationship skills, management skills, the ability for you to think critically and creatively, and the ability for you to communicate with so many consultants and so many clients at the same time. Those are soft skills that you can think of it as the transferable skills to other roles that not necessarily have to stay inside architecture. But I would say it would be hard if you try to go to a completely different industry for other people to know what you actually do, because no one knows what architects do. So it's going to take you some time to explain to them that, hey, I actually have these leadership skills and management skills that I could also apply for other roles. So I would think broader and don't get stuck in the mindset of just applying your drafting skills to other positions.
That's a great insight, Joann, because a lot of architects, they stick to what they know only, right? Like drafting, picking up red lines when you're a new architect. But there's a lot, you're absolutely right. There's a lot you can learn if you just open your mind to your skills that you've gained throughout the years. So I have a question. This is My favorite question to ask: what's your favorite mistake and why? How did it help you?
My favorite mistake?
Yeah, what's your favorite mistake that turned into a blessing?
That's a good question. um,
we all have those, like, I'm such an idiot, but it turned into like, oh, that was not a bad mistake.
Yeah, at first you like freak out and then you're like, okay, hold on. I learned a big lesson from
Yeah.
this, as a matter of fact.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was like a mistake, but before I started doing podcast or any interviews, that was probably, I don't know, 2 years ago. I got an invite to get on a podcast, and I came home to my partner and I was like, oh, I got a podcast invite, which is really cool because it's like the first one. And he was like, you should do it. And then I went into this mode of, because I'm an introvert, like I cannot do an interview on a podcast. And I started crying and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. So I actually ghosted the person because I didn't know how to respond. Because I was so scared because like even 2 years ago, I wasn't able to like get on a podcast, and I waited a whole year because I was getting like invites and interviews, and I kind of kept ignoring it because I was like, I can't do this, and I waited a whole year until the same person asked me again for like a different topic on the podcast, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this one and see how it goes. So I went on my first podcast after a whole year of refusing to get on a podcast. And it was totally fine and normal. And I was like, oh, why did I wait a whole year? And ghosted the person, which was a really bad thing to do, to get on a podcast. So,
But Romina, now Joanne speaks in a lot of internet, like, conferences internationally with so many people from the AIA conferences. Like, I can't keep track. Where is she again? That's why she's a fearless introvert.
Well, it's amazing sometimes because a lot of people overwhelmed it and overthink it for like a podcast interview, or either, going in for the jump, doing something new, because sometimes we're like, oh my God, what if I do something wrong? What if I don't do it right? Because you also want to be a perfectionist at the same time. So you overthink it. But I mean, just right there, you waited for within a year. Now you wish sometimes I'm probably like, I'm assuming you wish you did that a year ago because you'd have a lot more interviews going on the podcast. So that is a really big blessing for you to learn at the same time, because you're like, if you really want to do something, maybe, get out of your introverted area for a second, be like, okay, let's just do it. Deep breathe, let's just jump for it. Right.
right. Definitely.
Now, I definitely wanted to ask, what are your plans for Women Architect Collectives? You right now have over 3,000 members, which is really impressive. But what's your new goal? What's the new plan for the membership?
Oh, I have so many plans that I don't have time to do. But I was planning at the beginning of this year, I was planning for a virtual conference for our community. And that's still in the books. I kind of delayed it because I got a new job and I had to like spend some time to adjust. So after I kind of settled down everything, I'm going to start replanning the conference. It's gonna be called the Women Architects Festival, and it's gonna be really fun. Hopefully, it will be more like a celebration for our community instead of just like boring lectures and conference. I also want to do just more events, and hopefully, if we can start in-person events anytime next year, hopefully we can do that as well in different cities. I also have planned to just create more resources for the members, just because I think there are a lot of career website out there, or career advice, career coaches. Now, I'm not a career coach, but I recognize that there are a lot of there aren't really a place for architects, especially women architects, to go for these kind of career fights, because our industry is so specific, that, you know, that is different than being an accountant or being, you know, an office, I don't know, any kind of other offices. So I think it would be great to just create more resources for them to learn from.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Who is your ideal architect? Somebody that you would love to meet?
Living or dead? Like who? It doesn't have to be living or, you know.
That's a good question. I think I would love to meet... I have never actually thought about that.
This is what we do when we're in college. Not 10 years through work, right?
It's funny because I feel like I don't know any architect anymore, because like when you're working, you're actually not into like following architects.
Yeah, this is what we should have asked this question when she was in NJIT. I wouldn't know how to answer that either.
I was like, I don't know. I think so. My favorite architect is Tadao Ando.
Oh, I love him.
I love his work, and I think I would love to meet him. I also love Kengo Kuma. I know I love all the Japanese architects.
Yeah.
So I would love to actually see their work in Japan. I don't think I would necessarily need to meet them. I just want to see their buildings in Japan.
See their work and admire their work. And I'm sure you'll sit there and try to analyze everything, all the project behind it, and just admire it for a good couple of minutes too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Joann, let me ask you this, dear. What's next for you? What's next for Joann? What is Joann like? What's a new and exciting project that maybe you're working towards?
Oh, I have so many things planned.
Maybe it doesn't have to be work, maybe personal life.
So I haven't told anyone yet, but I am actually
it's just between me, you, and I at this point,
and the whole
else.
podcast.
Yeah. Okay, tell us.
I am actually planning to go travel for a while, and because so this job at Monograph is remote, and I took this job partially because I just wanted the freedom to go travel if I could. So I have been actually for the past week purging and cleaning up everything I have in the house and selling everything and packing it all up. So that's kind of my plan for the
digital
next year.
nomad life.
Yes, that's the plan, and we'll see how that goes and how far it will last.
Okay, I do have a lot of friends, Joann, who are digital nomads in Chiang Mai, in like Estonia, like all these places. So if you need connections, let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure Joann is going to, go ahead and post about it and make all her connections aware of it too. So where can we actually connect with you on social media to connect with you, or as well follow your journey all around the globe pretty much?
So you can follow me on my Instagram at Joann Lui. I am always on my Instagram. That's the fastest way. People try to email me, but then if you message me on Instagram, I actually respond to you.
Okay, that's me. That's me with Joann. Like you see Joann on Instagram all the time.
I just love Instagram. But you can also find me on my website, joannlui.com. Very simple. And you can join us on the Women Architects Collective on Facebook. If you just search Women Architects Collective, you'll find it on Facebook.
Perfect. Joann, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast Architect My Life today. Do you have any other questions for Joann? I mean, I'm loving this interview. I wish we didn't have to get to an end here.
I know what's going on in Joann's life because I follow her on Instagram. So even though we don't talk, I know that she's baking bread, making tea, making noodles. When I started Architect My Life, I actually asked Joann, how do I do this? It's like, it's hard in the beginning, but just show up.
Showing up is half of the job. Yeah.
And that's what I learned from Joann. So maybe one day I'll wake up in my pajamas and do the thing. Like, hey. Thank you so much, Joann, and good luck with your journey in terms of being a digital nomad. I think you will enjoy it.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And
did we end the podcast, or we can just cut it later?
No, we'll do the editing later.
Okay. We will let you know when it's published.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys make sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you are getting this podcast juice from, because we do have amazing interviews just like we had this week with Joann. You definitely do not want to miss out on our future episodes. If you are listening from Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Tell us how amazing we're doing. Leave us a short and amazing comment as well. And until our next episode, I hope you guys have fabulous and tremendous days. Your host, Romina, here. Goodbye for now.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Architect My Life podcast. We'd love to hear from you on social media using the hashtag Architect My Life podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Aya_Architect My Life. That's Aya, AYA_Architect My Life. And for women firm owners, I invite you to join the Architect My Life private Facebook group. If you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the show, as well as rate or review us wherever you access podcasts. And if you think you have something to add to the conversation through your success running a business, we invite you to apply to be a guest in one of our upcoming episodes. Visit architectmylife.com/podcast to learn more. Maybe you're not in a position to share your success story yet. That's okay. Take your business to the next level with our coaching and online courses. Get everything you need at architectmylife.com. Remember, there is a way to manage it all so you can achieve more. I'm Aya Schlachter. Thanks again for listening.